Well, Nicola and I know others have talked about AAB. What we know about age in AAB is mature students are much less likely to have AAB than others, and so arguably the proposals will disproportionately impact on older students. The AAB, the core margin, the AAB bit of core margin will actually, anyway, sorry, forget about that, is more likely to impact on older students. With regards to gender, actually, many of you will know, women students tend to attain now better at degree level than male students, that probably doesn't impact directly on the WP agenda, but I thought we'd just put that in there nonetheless to show the kind of differences that are happening across the protected characteristics. The other thing about AAB is that they tend to disproportionately come from, of course, from particular schools, definitely private schools, but not only private schools, certainly more middle-class areas have higher outcomes of AAB than others, and that clearly is a WP issue. Just because of time, I'm going to move on. I just wanted to flag up those issues around cross-border flows. There is information and data produced almost weekly about the impact of the 4 separate fee regimes in the countries of the UK. I'm not going to pretend for one second that I understand the impact all now, although we're beginning to get more and more data about it, including in last week's, I think, Times Higher Ed around this. Hurley and Moore, I've flagged up. It's a case, some of you may have read about the case that some students are taking to challenge the government's proposals for a maximum of £9,000 fees. They've brought the case under both equalities legislation under the public sector duties and also human rights legislation, interestingly. And I spoke to the barrister who is taking the case, and they're expecting the judgment. The case is called Hurley and Moore, the Secretary of State for Business, Innovation and Skills. They're expecting the judgment sometime before Christmas. You know, if I was a betting man and I had to put money on it, I don't expect the case will succeed. But who knows? That may add an interesting wrinkle to current arrangements. It is clear to me, however, that we need to continue to embed equality and diversity issues within the WP agenda for some of the reasons that I've pointed out. In terms of the future, we will be working with OFFA around work that we do at ECU to meet the OFFA and WP agenda, including the fact that spend that institutions are committing to widening participation in their access agreements can be used on equality and diversity work, including ECU work. And we are undertaking projects which will impact, including admissions and underrepresented groups and systemic change on race equality, which will be more information of which will come to light in the coming months. I don't know what happened there, but that's just a bit. That was going to be a bit of information about our systemic change projects, but they are basically at very early stage. That's what my team did. They made it very clever. So I'm sorry about that last bit being rushed. I hope that was interesting, and I'd be very happy to continue to think with you about the agenda. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much indeed, David, for that. Right, we're going to move swiftly on. Do keep the questions and issues, because we're going to have a panel session this afternoon, and there'll be opportunities to come back on some